Well, BitLocker offers that persistent protection. And my apologies, this is kind of hard to read in the lighting in this room. So what the BitLocker protection does is it gives you the capability of protecting the data while the system is offline. So if you have, BitLocker is a volume level encryption. Volume level encryption, not drive level encryption, not file level encryption, volume level encryption. So for every drive letter, every volume on your system, you can have it, you can turn on or turn off that encryption bit, whether or not it's locked. If it is locked, if you do not have the key, you are not going to get to that data. Why do you care? I mean, you guys know what BitLocker is. You use it on your thumb drives and you use it on your laptops, right? That are going to be out in the wild. Why do you need it on your data center? Answer, you don't. But if you want to have the most secure hypervisor possible, add this, because if the server walks, not very secure without this, right? Because now your data is not protected. But with this, your data is absolutely protected. What if it's not the server that walks? What if it's the hard drives? Somebody pops in there and yanks all the hard drives whenever you have a fire drill, right? Everybody's running out, and the guy that's leading the server room doesn't watch the door close, and somebody slips in there and grabs 6 hard drives, and now they've got 6 hard drives on a machine that was a hypervisor server. If those drives are not BitLocked, that data is now exposed, not very secure. So BitLocker gives you that security and depth, that extra depth in your security profile to make sure that you have a secure server. Talking about BitLocker, you got to talk about physical security, because if you don't have physical security, you don't have anything.
Any idea of the overhead for using?
So what is the overhead of BitLocker? I'll answer that this way. I run BitLocker. It's actually not running on this because it's a brand new machine. Actually, while I'm here, I might as well tell you what I'm running. I'm running an IBM Lenovo W510 laptop. It's got 2 drives in it. The internal drive is just a standard 320 SATA drive, 7,200 RPM, I believe. And in the bay, I've got an SSD drive, which is very fast. It's only 160 gig. And I've got 16 gig of memory. And this is my portable server. If you want to know more about this laptop, go to my blog. I did a blog post about the laptop, and it has the title something like Portable Server Review or something like that. That's this. This machine is designed to be a server, and more about that in my blog post, because it's not designed to be a laptop. So what I have found, though I haven't used it on this, I have used it on other Hyper-V laptops without this much power, is I didn't notice a difference. And you know what I do. I do this kind of stuff in front of a lot of people, sometimes 1,000 people at a time. If I was going to have a slowdown, I would kind of know it. The audience would kind of know it. So it's not been noticeable to me. At the same time, I'm not necessarily running this in production on a quad core machine with 60 gig of memory and running 30 production machines on it either. And half of them running Exchange, the other half running SQL. If I was doing that, hey, maybe I would experience some performance degradation. I don't know. But generally, I haven't noticed a difference in performance for that security. Good enough answer?
Yeah, what I was getting at was, with your fire drill scenario, where someone's going to steal a drive and maybe replace it with another drive and it will automatically rebuild and nobody would know. They take that drive home and now they're going to crack your parent partition and attack your VHDL.
Well, if it's BitLocked, it's not going to matter, because they're not going to take that. They can take the drive home, but they're not going to get the data. And that's the whole point of the BitLocker, because it's all encrypted.
Part B. You also have to protect your virtual machines, which are VHDs.
Actually, you don't. You don't have to protect your virtual machine at that level, because they can't get to the VHD. That's the whole point of BitLocker. Because BitLocker encrypts at the data level. It's not at the file level. It is at the before it gets to disk. It's encrypted. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So I don't know. Does anybody have experience with this BitLocker? I can tell you, in my hosting company, Basic Integrated Technology, I do have BitLocker running on production servers, and I don't have it running on all of them. I can tell you, those servers that are running SQL Server and Exchange, I have not BitLocked. Not from not trusting it, just, you know, those are the last to undergo the knife, so to speak. And frankly, I don't know that I want to go there. It's just a business decision, not necessarily a technical one. The ones that I have used it on, I haven't noticed any issues with. But eventually I probably will do the SQL and the Exchange servers too. I don't know. We'll see. Well, you got to talk about physical security. We probably should have started off with this slide. Maybe I'll swap that around for my next presentation. Device installation group policies. No removable disks. Devices allowed on the system. Some of the things you might want to do to really secure, do the physical security components. Yeah, I guess it does go after the BitLocker. We talked about BitLocker already. Especially for laptops and branch offices. Why especially laptops and branch offices?
They can disappear easily.
Well, they're a lot easier to disappear than something that's locked up in a data center, right? I mean, you got a server room like IBM showed some of us today. You don't worry about that as much as you worry about the laptop or you know, where do branch offices often put their servers?
Janitor closet.
In the janitor closet, in the coat closet, underneath somebody's desk. You know, where it's getting kicked every day and feet propped up against it, or you know, banged with the vacuum cleaner and all that stuff, where it's completely unsecure. Yeah, those you definitely want to do everything you can, from, you know, locking out removable drives, running BitLocker on them, doing those things. Absolutely want to do those types of devices. BitLocker to go to encrypt removable devices like USB sticks. Well, if you get rid of the ability to use those, then obviously you don't need to worry about that, but it is there. There's also group policies that allow you to say don't let users save data on USB stick unless the stick's been encrypted. Okay, so less about virtualization security, but while we're on the topic, I wanted to throw that out there because I think it's come up in the past whenever I've had this kind of discussion. So McAfee, I'm going to promote somebody else's product here just for a moment. McAfee does have a virus scan enterprise for offline virtual images. So what you'll see is, because Microsoft has a really good API and is giving you access, giving vendors access to those API calls, third parties are going to have already started writing applications that take advantage of the virtualization stack and make it better. Okay, McAfee was one of the ones that have actually already done that. We got to talk about Hyper-V and common criteria certification. So they've achieved their EAL 4+ certification on the product. I don't personally really know what that means, but I know it's really, 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 really important. Okay, so it's a really important certification for them to have on the product. It does require a hotfix. I guess they had a little issue in order to get the certification. They had to do one little thing, and they did that. It's in the hotfix, and they're good to go now. Okay, so we've talked about the architecture. We've talked about the hypervisor. We understand what the parent does, and we understand the relationship between the hypervisor and the parent. We got all that, right? We're good with that. So now we understand how important the parent is, and we need to make sure that we protect the parent. So how do we do that? First of all, keep the parent small. Okay? Server core, it's a minimal installation. So don't install stuff that you don't need to install on it. You know what, guys? Please, 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 don't go making your Hyper-V server your domain controller because it's convenient. Don't go making it your web server because it's convenient. Don't go making it your workstation that you do all your daily work at because you got a lot of extra power there that you have in reserve. Don't do those kind of not so smart things for sure. Definitely don't do those kinds of things. You want to keep it small. You want to provide the essential server functionality, and that's it. And the server core gives you that in a command line. You don't get the GUI shell. You don't get all that other jazz. You can put other services, even if it's server core. You can make it a DNS server. You can make it a Active Directory server. You can make it whatever other server you want to make it through the services that are available on core. All I'm suggesting is don't. Just keep it minimal.